Okay, so most of the structured problems will be solved by the MIS, and unstructured problems will be solved by the DSS, Decision Support System. Then the EIS or the Executive Information System or Executive Support System is used both for the structured as well as unstructured problem solution. Now, today we'll start with the Unit 2, that is the SDLC. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, see, we'll start with the SDLC. Today, the Unit 2. Now, what is SDLC? The SDLC is a standard which stands for System Development Lifecycle. Okay, this is the SDLC stands for System Development Life Cycle. System Development Life Cycle. Now, see, before going to the presentation, let me give you some basic idea. Actually, what is the role and responsibility of SDLC? As we discussed in the first unit, that what is an information, what are the characteristics of the information, what are the types of information, what are the dimensions of information. Then, yeah, I'll share it. Just wait. I'll share the screen. Just wait. Let me tell you some, the basics. Then I'll show you the slides. Okay, don't do it. So, as we discussed, what is information, how information is produced from the data, then what are the types of information, what are the dimensions of information, how the information are used by the different manager levels, then what is information system, what are the components of that, then MIS, DSS, EIS. So now the question is, as the manager of any organization or industrial firm, when you decided to go for the MIS implementation or the MIS use of in your organization, then how to develop? Actually, ready-made software is available, but as per your requirements, as per your industry requirement, your organization requirement, you need certain changes. Then how to adopt those changes? How to develop a new one? So that is why the basic idea to know how to develop a new system, how to develop a new solution, how to adopt a new change in the organization. So for that, a common strategy is adopted, a global, you say the procedure is adopted, or you say a common set of rules and regulations are adopted, and that is technically called SDLC, System Development Life Cycle. Okay. So now let me go to the slide presentation. Now, you see, as I told, the SDLC is System Development Life Cycle. Information system we have already discussed, consisting of the hardware, the software, the data, the people, and the procedures that work together to produce quality information. I told quality. Quality means free from error. It will be produced without any mistakes. It will be produced without any ambiguous values. So the information should be a quality information. So information system consists of hardware, software, data, people, and procedures that work together to produce quality information. I mean, it will the information system, as I already told you, it receives data or information, but produces always the information, stores information, processes information, outputs information. Now coming back to system, normally I told A system we mean is a computer system or is a laptop, or the general definition of a system is set of components that interact to achieve common objective or common goal. Like DDC is a system, Utkal University is a system, you say the health sector is a system, banking sector is a system. So set of components that interact to achieve common goal. And you'll be surprised to know that the business uses different types of systems. You say education have one system, education system. Health has one system. But business has many systems. Let's say finance system, as I told, subsystems, okay? Finance, marketing, HR, production, okay? So many subsystems it will use. Okay, so now what are the phases of the system development life cycle? You see, this is what you should remember, because you will be asked a long question. Okay, I mean a 12-mark question. You will be asked from here. What are the phases of the system development life cycle? SDLC. What are the phases? The SDLC, or in order to develop any new system, or in order to change one existing system to adopt new changes, the SDLC consists of 5 phases. 5 phases. 5 phases it consists of. The first phase is the planning, second analysis, third design, fourth implementation, 5 support. I repeat, first planning, second analysis, third design, fourth implementation, fifth support. Is my slide visible? Hello?
No, sir.
Slide is not visible.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Visible.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm not changed. This is my second slide. This is my first slide. Just. This is my first slide. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Sir.
Okay, just hold on. Anyone can respond. This is my first slide. I think it is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then this is my second slide. Is it visible?
No, sir.
Not visible.
Not visible.
Yes. Just. Is it visible now?
No. Not visible.
Okay, just 1 minute. Now this is visible.
No, sir.
Eh?
Not moving, sir.
Sir, your slide is not moving.
This is second slide. I'm in the second slide.
First one.
This is first one.
Not second one. No, nothing.
This is first one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, just 1 minute. Let me see. Okay, this is my first slide. Is it visible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is second slide visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now the second slide you see, I told you what are the pages of SDLC. Now, what is SDLC? I told SDLC is a set of rules and regulations that followed to develop a new system or to change the existing system to adopt the new requirements or the new demands or the new needs of the market. So the SDLC consists of several steps which will be followed sequentially, one after the other. It will be consisting of several steps, or you say phases which will be followed step by step in order to find the new system or in order to incorporate the changes in the existing system. Okay, so the SDLC consists of 5 phases. That the first one is the planning, second analysis, third design, fourth implementation, fifth support. Is it visible, the slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you see, as I told, the SDLC consists of a set of rules or regulations as well as a set of steps which will be followed sequentially. See, this is the step 1, or you say the phase 1. The phase 1 will be the planning. Then it will be the phase 2, that is the step 2 analysis. Step 3 is the design. Step 4 is implementation. Step 5 is support. Now, what is the specific actions, or you say the activities to be performed in step 1 or the phase 1? In phase 1, that is the planning. You, before developing a system for a specific problem, you have to first understand the problem. What is exactly the problem? Whether the problem is worthy to solve it, whether it is benefits for the organization or industry to solve that. So the first step is the planning. Here you have to plan. You have to review the project requests. You have to do the feasibility study. We'll go the detail in the later on. Then you have to prioritize the project requests. Suppose you have 5 project requests. Which one will be the first priority to handle? Which will be the second? Like that you have to think of. Then you have to allocate the resources, manpower, hardware, software. Then you have to identify the project development team. Who will be the members who will work in the team? That you have to plan in the first phase, that is the planning. Coming to the second is the analysis. There you have to analyze the problem. You have to conduct preliminary investigation whether the problem is technically feasible, is financially feasible, is operationally feasible, or there is a practical solution for that one. Then perform detailed analysis activities like study current system, determine users' requirements, and recommend solution. You know, this is what essentially requires. The first one, study current system. Study current system. You see, we are taking, suppose you want to start a new business, you have to first study the existing similar businesses. Suppose you want to open a drugs manufacturing industry. Then before that, before opening, you have to study similar drug manufacturing. There will be you have to take the data, or you have to study similar industries which are manufacturing different drugs. Then you can have a concrete data on your hand. Okay, so that you can take a good decision, apparently good decision. Then you have to determine the user's requirements and you have to find a solution. You have to recommend a solution. That's the phase 2 activities, this analysis. Then design. In design, you have to allocate the hardware and the software. Then the system will be developed. In the fourth phase, that in the implementation, the program will be coded. Okay, the coding will be done here. Yes, someone messes the coding and testing. Okay, testing and coding, that part is implementation. It comes the coding. You have to develop the programs, install and test the new system. This is the testing. Okay, developing, the technical name of developing the programs is called coding. Coding is nothing. Coding is nothing, is the technical name of developing the programs, or we are saying the art of developing or writing new codes is known as coding. So here in the fourth phase, in the implementation, you have to first develop the program. Then you have to install and test the new system you develop. Then you have to train the users. I have not told you. I'll tell you in the feasibility study, training of the users, training of the employees is essential required. That is what one of the most important component of the HR. Because you have to upgrade, you have to enhance the existing skill of your employees, So the users will be trained, then you have to convert to the new system. Then the fifth is essential required, which is technically we are saying implementation and maintenance. That support phase, that's the last phase. Here you have to conduct post-implementation system review. I mean, after implementing the new system, what are the benefits you got? What are the negative impact you feel? And how to minimize the negative impact and how to maximize the positive impact. So that you have to conduct post-implementation system review. Then you have to identify the errors. If any errors exist during the implementation, during the use, you have to identify those errors and you have to enhance the system so as to eliminate those errors. Then the last activity that is done in the phase 5, that's a support, is the monitor system performance. System performance is essentially, required. System performance is essentially required and it should be continuously monitored. Then only the system performance can be enhanced. Like you took the admission and you are giving the semester examination, you are continuously evaluated and the grade points or the marks are assigned to you so that to monitor your system, your performance, and if it's increasing, it's okay, decreasing, then you will be asked by the teacher to improve your performance in the exams or in the class. So that is the last point. Monitor system performance is essentially required and it should be. Okay. Now coming to the next is what are the guidelines for system development? As I told, the SDLC consists of 5 phases. Then what are the guidelines? How the guidance will be taken to develop the system? So we are taking 3 different guidelines. First is the arrange the tasks into phases. will be arranged as 5 numbers, phase 1, 2, 3, 4, starting from planning, analysis, then see, starting from analysis, planning, analysis, design, implementation, support. So each task has to be arranged into phases. Then you have to interact with the users, the end customers for whom the system is developed. Suppose X company is developing a product for Y, a system for Y, then X should interact with Y continuously. That's involve the user so that user can give the feedback or can access the system during fixed interval of the time. Then develop clearly the defined standards. That procedure standards means the procedures company expects employees to follow. You know, we are saying in an office, we are saying it's a work culture or work schedule. In home, we are saying it's a normal life procedure standard. We are following certain standards. What to be followed during the activities performed in SDLC. See, the system development life cycle, who can participate? In the system development life cycle, who can participate? Is it visible? The diagram is visible to you people? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You see, a system development life cycle consists of 5 phases, and it is normally used to develop a new system or to enhance the existing system to adopt the new changes. So there are many stakeholders. There are many clients, many customers, many users, many managers. They will interact during the system development life cycle. You see, starting with the user, there could be n number of users. I mean, any number of users can interact in the SDLC. So it is, see, user 1, 2 up to user n. Then the data communication analyst, the steering committee, whose role is to monitor continuously the system development. Then application system programmers, then vendors, webmasters, network engineers, system analysts, management, database administrator, and database analysts. Then data warehousing specialists. So many, so many persons are involved. So many persons are involved during the SDLC, system development life cycle. Okay. Now, what is a system analyst? Normally, analyst is the person who is doing analysis. It compares the expected value with the actual value. So here, see, the system analyst is responsible for designing and developing the information system. It lies in between the users and IT professionals. So it will try to find the gap and fill it between the users and IT professionals. Then what is the project team? The project team consists of few members. They are assigned the work to work in a specific project from beginning to end. It consists of, project team consists of the users, system analysts, the programmers, the testers, and other IT professionals. One project leader will be there who will lead the project team. Every project team consists of minimum 4 to 5 persons, consisting of at least one user, one system analyst, and 2 to 3 number of programmers, and at least one testing professional or tester user to perform the testing. And that will be led by a person which is called the project leader. So one member of the team who manages and controls the project budget and schedule. Now, what is the schedule? I think you might have taught in there are two schedules we are using to approach. One is the PERT, another is the CPM. Have you heard this one? PERT, PERT, and CPM. PERT is project evaluation review technique. CPM is critical path method. Both are used to find the optimum schedule from the starting to the financial stage, from the starting to the final stage, so as to reduce the overall project cost, time, and duration. Have you taught PERT and CPM? Yes, PERT and CPM. Anyone? Am I audible or not?
Yes, sir, audible.
Yeah. My question is, have you taught the PERT and CPM somewhere? Okay, so
No,
let me.
sir.
Sorry.
No, sir.
Okay. Anyway, it's fine. PERT and see the chat box. Is it visible? Whatever I've typed in the chat box. So this is the full form of the PERT, project evaluation review technique. Second is the critical. Is it visible? Whatever I'm typing through the chat box.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you see, PERT and CPM are the two techniques that are adopted by the management fellows to find an optimum schedule. And the optimum schedule consists of the minimum cost, time, and duration. It will be calculated from the starting state to the final state by going through the minimum path, cost, so as the overall cost will be reduced, the time will be reduced, and duration of the project will be reduced. But you know, a project may consist of 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, and sometimes it's also let's say it is the deadline is to be completed is 2022, but it may be extended to 2023 because of not some problem within the during the project implementation. So the project leader is a person who will lead the team, will manage the team members, and controls the project budget. That is a financial budget, the technical budget, and to find a schedule. Next, see, this is what actually I want to say just before 20 minutes. Feasibility study. You know, whenever any new thing you want to incorporate it, or you want to use in your system, as the manager, it is your first and foremost responsibility to perform the feasibility study. Feasibility study. Now, what is feasibility? The measure of how suitable the system development will be to the company. Whether practically it is possible to find a solution for the problem, whether it is possible to develop a new system or not, that is what the feasible. Suppose you are staying in Bhubaneswar, I say you go to Cuttack within 1 hour. Yeah, this is feasible. But if I say you are staying in Bhubaneswar, I'll say you go to Cuttack within 5 minutes. That is practically not possible. I mean, it's an infeasible solution. Infeasible problem. Where there is not a feasible solution. So in any SDLC, you will find as the manager, you have to first carry out the feasibility. Now, there are 4 types of feasibility study carried out, as I told already. The first one is the financial feasibility, which is called as the, in the slide it is written economic feasibility, but in engineering, we say this is financial feasibility, and in management somehow they are called cost benefit feasibility. Then the second is the technical feasibility. Third is the operational feasibility. Fourth is the schedule feasibility, or we are saying the time feasibility. You'll be asked either a 5-mark question or an 8-mark question, what is feasibility and what are the types of feasibility. It's a normal asked question in interview also. Because it is already proved that if any system is developed without carrying the feasibility study, that system will be a failure system. That system will be a failure system. So because you provide all the effort, manpower, money, time, but you say at the end of 1 year, 2 years, you found your project or your system is failure. Then it's a very total loss for your organization or industry. So that's why before going, yes, Subhas Mr. What do you want to achievable or not? Which one is achievable or not? You can unmute and you can say yourself the question. Subhas Mr. If I am audible?
Sir, feasibility, does it means like it is achievable or not?
Yeah, feasibility has to be achieved. If there is no feasibility, then there is no question of going for the development. See, let's say you are staying in, as I told, I'm now in DDC, taking your class, and some my friend in Cuttack will actually come by 5 minutes. So it's practically not possible. Then why will try for that? So now it's a totally useless, worthless for trying that. So, as the manager or as the decision maker of an industry or organization or a firm, it could be government, it could be private, it could be semi-government. First thing carried out is the feasibility work, the feasibility study. That whether it's practical suitable or not. So that is what I think you see the slide, the measure of how suitable system development will be to the company, will be to the farm, will be to the industry, will be the government organization, a private organization or semi-government organization for which the system is going to be developed. And in engineering, we said the feasibility study is checking whether practically it is possible to achieve a solution for that or not. As I told, I will say you go from Bhubaneswar to Cuttack within 5 minutes. So there is no chance of going by either any means. Then why will I try for the solution? Why will I go for the requirement analysis? Why will I go for the coding? Why will I go for the design? I know it's a failure one. So for that, feasibility study is essentially required and is a first step of every new system development for any industry or organization or firm. Basically, the feasibility study are carried out 4 ways. The first is economic feasibility, as in engineering said is a financial feasibility. For management views, they are also saying the cost benefit feasibility. Second, technical feasibility. Third, operational feasibility. Fourth, the schedule feasibility, or you say the time feasibility. Schedule feasibility or time feasibility. And nowadays we are going for another one. And as the management fellow, you should know, because you may work on that type of the system. So you should know that the 5th one is the environmental feasibility. The 5th one is what? Environmental feasibility. Because you see our Prime Minister saying about the climate changes, how to protect the environment, because if the environment get imbalanced, then many things is happening. Natural calamities will happen, earthquake, volcanic eruption, cyclone, flood, because you cannot control those. These are beyond the control of human. You can take the steps to mitigate their impact. You can take the steps to reduce their impact in the society, in the state or country, but you cannot avoid those. So that is why currently a new feasibility study is adopted, and the management fellow, you should know, that is the environmental feasibility. Now, what is economical feasibility? The economical feasibility or the financial feasibility, which is also called a cost benefit feasibility, is the feasibility study about the system, whether the system is financially feasible or not, it's economic or not, whether developing the new system will generate certain profit or revenue for the organization or not. Suppose I'll ask the TCS to develop a 3D game and I'll give them 100 rupees. So that is they will not develop the software. So that is financially not feasible. Because all private organizations, they work on the principle of profit generation. And whenever they are employing their manpower, they are giving their effort, time, cost. So in turn, they need certain profit. They will spend, let's say, 100 rupees in a project. So they expect at least 110 or 105 the return. So the economic feasibility or the financial feasibility, which is otherwise called as the cost benefit feasibility, deals with checking or verifying whether the project, the system is practically and financially feasible or not. Developing such a system will generate certain profit or not. Development of the system will benefit to the developer or not. Using the system is benefits for the users or not. So both angles, the financial feasibility will be carried out. Suppose I will say you develop a software for DDC for the online student management system, online student examination. So doing offline, if the DDC spends 1,000, now if in the software it will be spent on 500, then I'll definitely go with the software as the user of the DDC. Similarly, this is one financial feasibility or economical feasibility. Similarly, if the software will be developed by TCS and TCS spends after all 400 and they ask the DDC to pay 500 or 600. So it is also benefit for them. So economical feasibility or the financial feasibility will be carried out both developer side as well as the user side, because none of them are going to face any type of loss, financial loss. That will be done in the economic feasibility. Then coming to the next is technical feasibility. The financial feasibility or the economical feasibility is carried out the finance team headed by a finance manager. Finance team headed by a finance manager. Next, coming to the technical feasibility. The technical feasibility is normally carried out. The technical feasibility is normally carried out by the technical team followed by a technical experts called technical manager, having 10 to 15 years experience in similar fields. good and sound knowledge about the similar projects already developed. And here in technical feasibility, they basically did, in the technical feasibility, they basically did and verifies the technical aspects of the system to be developed. Technical aspects, I mean, the hardware requirements, the software requirements, the infrastructure they need. Like, in order to use the MIS software, you need a computer or laptop that you have to purchase. You need more memory to store the software as well as the data in the backend. That's the database, which we'll discuss in the 4th unit. So you have to purchase the secondary memory, like in the computer or laptop, we are using hard disk, and in software industry, they are going for the RAD. That is redundant array of inexpensive disk. You know, because whenever you are going for any software automation, computer is simply a machine and nothing miracle happens. Everything happens by following a procedure. And the data that will be handled, that will be managed, that will be processed, and the information will be produced. And this will be done by storing the data in the backend. That is called the database. We'll discuss in the 4th unit. The database is normally the backend application. So customer will not bother or worry about where data is stored, how stored, when stored, who stored, how managed. It's not the role and responsibility of the user. User only use the things. It's the backend. So there is a person called DBA, Database Administrator. DBA, Database Administrator. That is a super user who is responsible for managing, creating, maintaining, updating, modifying, inserting, deleting the data in the database. So the technical feasibility will be done to find the minimum hardware support, software support, along with the manpower support. There should be a person who will be taking all the software activities and maintain the database called the DBA, Database Administrator. Next, the third one is the operational feasibility. The operational feasibility. Now, in operational feasibility, you have to test whether the system which is developed for a firm or an industry or an organization is operable or not, is practically used, is practically usable in that site or not. Here, the client side feasibility will be checked. You develop, for example, what I mean to say, you develop a software. So whether that's operational feasibility, will check whether it's practically at the customer side, it's possible to use or not. You see, let's say, for one example, let's say, I came from a village where most of my village people, they know Odia. And let's say I thought I'll start a new school. But if I go and open a new school, like English medium school, people may be interested. But if I start a new school, Chinese new school, or let's say Russian new school, in the school, Russian language will be taught. I think nobody will be interested, and even they don't able to understand what I am going to say. If I say something in Chinese, but if I say in Odia, they will be happily listen to me and they will understand that. That is what the operational feasibility. Whether the system, new system, which is developed for a firm or organization, is operational in the client side or not. That's why, whenever we carried out the feasibility study, one team may visit to the client side, to see the geographical location, to study the environmental factors, to study the employees in the organizations, their psychology, their mentality, whether they are flexible to adapt the new changes or they are very rigid to not adapt the changes. So that will be done in the operational feasibility. Then coming to the last one, that's the fourth, that's a schedule feasibility. It's a time feasibility. Here, a time will be set between the developer team and the users or the clients or the customers. Let's say I'll say you develop a 3D game. I'll ask TCS to develop a 3D game for me within 1 day. Maybe possible, but if say within 1 second, within 1 minute, that's not possible. So that the schedule or the time feasibility is normally carried out by using two techniques, that is called POT and CPM. And this is normally led by the project manager. They will study the project complexity, they will study the project nature, they will study the project functional modules. How many functional modules will be there in the project? Let's say if I say DDC, for DDC, I want to develop a new system, new software system. So DDC will have functional units like one administrative department, one teaching admission department, one examination department, one student feedback department. So this could be the functional. So 4 is there. But you will go for the Odisha state, the system developed for, let's say, the health sector. Then the modules will be the number of hospitals, types of hospitals, then a number of name of hospital, then I'll come the location of the hospital, number of employees in the hospital. Let's say number of hospital total in Odisha, let's say it's 10,000. Then one of them is, let's say, SCB Medical College. Then on SCB Medical College, it will have many departments. So in that case, what I mean to say, when the functional modules will be more, it will take more time to develop that system. But whenever the number of modules will be less, it will require less time per development. So that's why the project manager will sit with other team members, like one from finance part, one from technical part, one from HR part, to just find the approximate schedule, and they'll take more time. Let's say they calculated by using, there are formulas in the software industry used, that is called FP, and how many modules will be there, that is called FP. That is called the function point. Technical term, just you remember, function point. They calculate PM, that is person per month. PM, person per, like we are measuring kilo, the unit of, the distance is less a meter, kilometer. Similarly, in software, we measure the size by 2 units. One is the called of FP function point, which is very frequently used. Another is the LOC, that is line of codes. LOC, line of codes. But LOC is not frequently used. FP function point is used. That I told, how many functional modules are there? More functional module, more time will be required. So they will calculate the time and they'll take more time. Let's say it comes 4 years plus something. So they'll take it 5 years. So they will ask the time from the customers or the clients or the end users. Now I told one new feasibility which is normally carried out nowadays, that is called the environmental feasibility. You see the chart box that I have typed, that is called the environmental feasibility. Now what is environmental feasibility? Whenever you are going to develop a new system, which is a critical system. Critical means the failure of the system have serious negative consequences. Like threat to human life, like pollution of water, pollution of air. So that type of system, whenever it will be developed, the environmental feasibility has to be properly carried out. For example, you are going to establish a new manufacturing plant, okay, or chemical plant. You know, this is the basic idea is that the chemical or manufacturing plant should be long way from the normal residence. It should be outside of the city. It should be outside of the city so that anything happens that will hardly affect the city. But if it will be close to the city, I think you might have heard, not heard, you might have seen also, most of the educational institutions developed earlier time was out of the city. IIT Kharagpur is a good example, which is outside of the city. It's a far away from Kolkata, and it is also later on the city was developed. But whenever it is initially developed, you see that is out of the city, so that any impact of the city will not affect the organization, or organization impact will not affect the city. So to have a successful system development, it is better to have a study on environmental, whether environmental supports or not. Environment supports or not. Suppose, let's say, I want to have a paper mill where I can produce papers. So if I can establish that, like a nearer place where you'll find many bamboo trees, so it will be a good project, because transportation of bamboo will reduce my cost. But let's say bamboo is available, let's say in our Nayagarh district, bamboo is, there are huge jungles where you can find many costly trees. Like for Rath Yatra, the trees are cut and the woods are supplied for the construction of the chariots. But you will see, let's say the jungles are, let's say Nayagarh, and I will settle a plant in, let's say in Sambalpur or in Talche, then you see transportation costs will be increased. So that is environmental, that is not feasible. So you have to carry it out the environmental feasibility, but that is a new term. After the climate plays a significant role, the environmental going imbalance because of the establishment of new industries, plants, farms. You see, even if you see the nowadays Cuttack and Bhubaneswar, time was there when I was studying my +2 at Ravenshaw. I find many, the lands, the cultivation lands near the roadsides of Bhubaneswar Cuttack Road. And nowadays you see mostly it is occupied, and the showrooms are established, the residential houses are established. So you see, what about the cultivation? So that is naturally it will affect the environment. So that type of impact should be studied. And as the future manager of any organization, you should look after that. Suppose, let's say, like you are having a school, and the school is near to someone's of residence. And if those people will in a quarrel, they will do it loud voice, they will say loud voice, it will affect the classroom teaching. So that should be avoided. So whenever you want to establish any new system, that system should be free from all types of external disturbances, and it should not also disturb the other existing setups. So that is what the environmental feasibility could be carried out. And whenever I told, as the manager, your first and foremost thing is to go for the feasibility study. If it's not feasible, then it's not worthy, or you say it's totally useless to move ahead with that project. You can directly deny to the client or the customer of that system who is requesting to develop, no, it's not our part. We are sorry, we can't develop. And since you are working in a private organization, if you are working in a government organization, there will be certain adjustment can be possible. But if you are working in a private firm or organization like TCS, Infosys, Wipro, so their basic motto is to generate the revenue, because they are going to pay the salary from the project cost. So for them, economic feasibility is at the topmost priority. For them, economic feasibility is the topmost priority. So I repeat, in any private organization, the development of new system, the important feasibility to be carried out is the economic or financial or cost benefit feasibility. As the manager of any government organization or semi-government organization, your first priority will be on the operational feasibility. In the operational feasibility, practically have some advantages during its use in that client side or not. So that's why I think you have heard, whenever government is going to launch any new idea, new project or new setup, they are just first going for a model demonstration. The model will be demonstrated by the secretary to the minister, minister to chief minister. Once it is approved, then it will go for the implementation. So as the manager of any government or semi-government organization, your first priority will be the operational feasibility. Next, it is a schedule feasibility. Schedule feasibility. They are not taking any care about the economic or technical, because government can have more finance, they can provide. Technical, they have quite enormous resources, so that is not a constraint. But operational, because their most attractive point is that the normal citizens should not be affected. So that's why they are giving the priority on first operational feasibility, then schedule feasibility, and nowadays it's the environmental feasibility. And if the environment is not supports the use of new system, the government will backtrack. And this is the reason you see why POSCO is backtracked from Odisha. Because the local people, they are not supporting that environmental feasibility as well as the operational feasibility was not carried out that time. So the government observed that the local people are not happy with the establishment of the POSCO. So government has been forced to itself to withdraw the POSCO contract, and POSCO left the Odisha. So as a future manager, your responsibility is to carry out all four feasibility study, like technical, economical, schedule, operational, and fifth one, environmental, which will be added with the time. And whenever you are working for a private organization, you give priority to the financial or economic feasibility. Whenever you are working in a government organization, you give the operational feasibility as the priority. Next schedule, try to complete the work within the deadline. Suppose the deadline is within 3 years. Try to do it within 2.5 years, 2.67 years, so that it will be completed before time and is ready for use. But deadline is 3 years. You are completing with 3.5, 3.6. So that is none of the, it will be have certain use, but it will be have negative impact. People will start telling this project is not completed within time, so the boss will not be happy with you. So whenever you are doing anything, try to do within the deadline. That is what in my first class I told, that the good quality of information is timeliness. Information should be provided within the time boundary, within the time limits, within the deadline, on or before. Let's say within 3 years means on or before 3 years, not after 3 years. So that is what the feasibility study is playing a significant role while developing a new system for any type of problem solution. And when a existing system or old system is upgraded to adopt the new changes, to adopt new system will be developed, or an existing system is to be upgraded to adopt the new changes. In those cases also, you have to clearly check out the feasibility study. If you found it is feasible in terms of economic, in terms of technical, in terms of operational, in terms of schedule, then you go ahead with that process. We go ahead with that system development. But somehow you found it's lacking somewhere, then try to at least adjust something. Let's say technical you need 5 GB memory and the customer has 3 GB. Then you ask the customer to provide another 3 GB memory so that it will be 6 GB more than 5 GB, or you provide additional 2 GB memory from your side and ask for the money to the customer. Or you can provide as free of cost for a kind gesture. So that is what you can adjust. But you have to carry out all the feasibility study, and it is essential required for any new system development. So this is all about the today class. If anybody have any doubt, or if anybody wants to say anything, you can say. Otherwise, we'll continue next class. Yes, anybody wants to say anything? Hello? Anybody? If you have any doubt, we started with the SDLC, System Development Life Cycle, consisting of 5 phases: planning, analysis, design, implementation, then support. Then we come up with the what is project team, the system analyst role, then project leader, then we discuss the feasibility study. Then the 4 types that is there in slide, and one additional which is newly joined, coin term, and that is what I told you. So this is all the things we discuss in the today class. If you have any doubt or anybody wants to say anything, the class is open. I am waiting for your response.
So doubt is clear. If it is possible, if you share the slides, then we can go through it better.
Yeah, sure. To whom I'll share? You just say me. I'll share this. I think you people have a group, I think, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so but I'm not in that group, so I can share to someone like yesterday. Share to whom? That fellow I'll share, or some new one. If anybody will give me a number, I can share also.
Because I think is not
Or
able.
any mail ID.
Sir, sir, can I have your number? Then
my number is 700.
Yes, sir.
813.
Okay.
0627.
Sir, one confirm. 700.
7. See the chat box. 700 813 0627.
Okay, sir. I'm sending my mail ID.
Okay. So you send it. I'll just send the slide. Okay. And you share. Go through the slide. We'll continue the next class.
Excellent, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay.